Sarah Willson on 18 News, your local news leader.
Good afternoon, Twin Tiers. Thank you for joining us on this Monday. I'm Sarah Willson. This morning, police are looking into an accident that took place on the south side of Elmira yesterday afternoon. President Biden was in Louisiana to survey damage caused by Hurricane Ida. The death toll from Hurricane Ida continuing to climb here more than a week after that storm made landfall. This comes as President Biden announces a sweeping new COVID policy. He's directing OSHA to mandate vaccinations or weekly testing for those who have not gotten their shot. The Wine Glass Marathon kicks off just after 8 this morning. Early voting for the New York June primary election wraps up tomorrow. New developments coming in overnight on the former Tops Plaza building in Elmira. The evacuations continue out of the airport in Kabul while security concerns heighten after Thursday's deadly attack. Overnight, the U.S. told Americans to leave the airport, quote, immediately, citing a specific and credible threat. Nick has a final check at your weather, but first I'd like to request that the humidity goes away. It has been a busy week at Canisteo Greenwood Middle School as both staff and volunteers gear up to welcome new students to their temporary home. That third dose of the COVID-19 vaccine could be in arms as soon as September. The rollout will likely be similar to how it was in January. First nursing home residents, then healthcare workers, older Americans, and then the rest of the population. Good evening, Tara. It was not a quiet evening for folks in the northern tier last night. The National Weather Service in Bradford County right now surveying damage, trying to figure out whether or not a tornado touched down there yesterday. This is an area that's a lot better off today than it was really just only a few days ago. You can still see behind me some of that damage. The water finally receding, though plenty of trees are still down. Neighbors tell me this has really been a community effort.
Our 18 News reporter Sarah Willson joining us now live in the studio. She's kicking off our coverage tonight of this big story. Good evening, Sarah.
Good evening, Zach. Jordan. Nearly a dozen women have come forward saying the governor sexually harassed them. And after a 5-month-long investigation, that report from the AG's office says those allegations are credible. Good afternoon, Tara. If you were just joining us, that explosive breaking news coming from Governor Cuomo. He has resigned 1 week after those sexual misconduct allegations came out from the Attorney General's report. His resignation, his step down, now taking place in 14 days. Good evening, Tara. Local leaders I spoke to say they aren't entirely surprised that the governor decided to resign. What they are surprised about is the timing of it. It quite literally came just moments after his attorney spoke publicly defending him. That's exactly right. Election day may be well over a year away, but there are a handful of candidates, including now Governor Kathy Hochul, who have already announced a formal run come 2022. All of this is still over a year away. So right now, New York is focusing on its current redistricting process. The committee is set to release its first draft of maps within the next 48 hours. Pennsylvania has some of the toughest abortion laws in the country. 85% of counties there don't have a clinic that provides abortion care. The debt ceiling started in 1917 when the United States had to figure out a way to pay for World War I. So Congress passed legislation that allowed the Treasury Department to borrow money by selling war bonds to investors and the American public.